Welcome to our new edition of Cola's Games Soapbox. Let's talk about games. I am your co-host, Ghost Crow Delta, with your other co-host.
McMahon CG.
I was gonna say it, but thanks for coming in and doing that. This new intro is to answer the question I had last time we did this, where I didn't know if I was going to talk first or if you was going to talk first, and hopefully we're going to get through this awkwardness from now on until forevermore.
We get an extra life.
And then we're going to get big?
Yes.
Okay.
I will be 10 foot tall.
Get jacked.
That's right. So, in keeping with your intro from last time, who talks first? You talk first? I talk first?
Okay. Let's talk Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Hit me with it.
Okay.
Give me your worst deep dark secrets about Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Hey, should we do a spoiler alert?
Guys, go watch the movie. Right now.
For real.
Stop.
For real.
Stop watching this. Go watch the movie. This is your spoiler alert. You do not want this spoiled.
Okay. So with that said, everybody dies in the end. No. So what's your favorite moment so far of the Star Wars: The Last Jedi movie?
Okay, favorite moment, hands down. Sound turns off. Screen goes completely black except for the Rebel or Resistance Star Cruiser that gets hyper jumped into Snoke's Star Destroyer. Hands down,
Chills.
best scene.
Getting
Yes,
chills.
Chills. Every time I watched it 3 times.
But I have a question.
Okay.
Why didn't the Empire hyper jump
Stop.
out of the fight with just one of their ships and then back in through a different vector?
Yes.
Almost like a triangle.
Okay. Let's talk about that too. It's a movie.
But I understand it's a movie, and I suspended disbelief
Okay.
because if you don't suspend disbelief on that one point, it is breaking the entire plot of the movie.
That. Also the Carrie Poppins section, as my friends have called it. I didn't think it was that bad, but it was a little weird. But then, again, we're doing now what everyone else on the internet is doing, which is talk bad about it, when actually we're kind of fans.
Oh no.
Stop.
You just outed me.
I'm sorry, man. We're closeted fans of this movie. We really enjoyed it. I didn't watch it 3 times because I didn't like it. Okay?
Okay. And
Okay.
you also didn't watch it 3 times because you don't have to pay for it every time.
Okay, we are not
Right.
sponsored by Movie Pass, but that is a good deal.
Yeah, somebody might want to look into that. But on another note, yes, I did like the movie.
Good.
I did have some complaints about it.
Sure.
But the thing is, pretty much every, what I guess you would call scene, every moment of the movie, I was completely enthralled.
Yeah,
I was enjoying the experience
it was
every time I saw it.
It was great. Even the Canto Bite section. Yeah, it felt a little different, but it had little kids in it. Kind of like, episode 1, and everything was kind of glossy, like the prequels. It kind of reminded me of the prequels. And in a way, I think it was nostalgic in that sense too. So we had nostalgia for the original trilogy, obviously with X-Wings and TIE Fighters, and they're calling themselves Rebels now, which I think they should have just stayed with calling themselves Resistance.
The Resistance.
I think that would have been fine, but that's okay. We want to turn up that nostalgia factor for the original trilogy, but we also turned up the nostalgia just a little, I think, for the prequels, at least for me. And you know what? Kind of liked it.
Okay, well, so far we're like, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes in, and we still haven't said anything groundbreaking. Like, I liked the movie because X.
Give me your X.
Oh gosh, well, there was one thing that I was going into the movie hoping for, not necessarily expecting, and I haven't seen much of this happen in the rest of the Star Wars films. They got into the spiritual side of the Force, but they didn't get super weird about it. And they even made some lighthearted jokes between Yoda and Luke in sort of the middle/end of the film. Those to me were some of the most developed, kind of thought-provoking, philosophical moments of the movie, and that's kind of what I'm into. So I really enjoyed that part. That made it all worth it for me.
Okay. You're a big Jedi Sith type fan then?
Well, I've played most of the Star Wars video games. This is Coalesce Games, so apparently we talk about games sometimes. So since we're talking about games now, Knights of the Old Republic
Yes.
is probably one of my top video games of all time. I think most people who've ever talked to me know that already. So if you didn't know that, Ghost Crow, shame on you.
Well, I know it now.
Now you know. So in Knights of the Old Republic, there is a definite balance in the Force that you have to strive for if you want to play the game a certain way. And I enjoy the individual moments in this role-playing game where you make choices, you're talking to people, you can choose to be a total jerk like Jack Bauer of the Galaxy,
The Jack Bauer
or
of the Galaxy.
you can follow the path of the light side and strive some sort of eerie balance between helping people and not helping them too much.
Sure. So basically, this was very evocative of previously made games in the sense that it dealt with the spirituality of Star Wars.
So what was your trigger moment in this movie?
I want to say the throne room fight. That was amazing. Early on, Rey, when she dispatches the first of Praetorian Guards, accidentally throws his or her energy sword thing into the background where it starts catching on fire, and the red fabric in the throne room during that whole scene burns, and what you're left with is a smoldering wreck of a throne room by the end of that scene. And I never noticed watching it the first time. I only noticed it when I watched it the second time because I wanted to see that transformation. Really, it goes from a very controlled, royal and regal throne room to this absolute mess. There's bodies everywhere. There's flying and falling wisps of fire, and what you end with is a very different look inside of that throne room. Very, very much what actually happened to Snoke's empire. Well, to Snoke himself. I really like that. That was awesome.
I'd just like to point out that your talk that you were giving just now was so interesting. The cat came down and got in frame just to get a little bit of like a two seconds of fame.
Well, cat's in it on it too.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
So we liked it. I liked it. You liked it. People on the internet were like, we can always talk about people.
Hang on. People on the internet were like, what? I don't go on the internet, so
Okay.
Enlighten me.
We're going to keep this short. That's what we'll try to do. Some people were disappointed with the direction that the movie was going. Some people wanted more of a fight out of Luke in the end. I also wanted more of a fight out of Luke in the end, but I think it was okay. If this is the new vision, then let's go this direction. It's too bad that there were a lot of movie clips and text-based statements by Mark Hamill shared where he expressed doubt, but I think they were mainly taken out of context, and he in the end said that he really liked it, and now that he actually regrets ever voicing his doubt. And I think that's too bad, because I like people being honest about their feelings about something, and people are being dishonest by taking Mark Hamill out of context. It's too bad. We can go into more online controversy, or we can kind of just wrap it up. We'll always find more controversy.
Let's wrap it up.
Okay.
Because as somebody who has a vested interest in Coalesce Games and its future, anybody I ever talk to or interact with about games, I want to impress on them the way I feel about media as well as gaming in particular, and that it shouldn't be used to divide people. It should be used to unite people. So, yes, there are going to be people who watched Star Wars. I know many who watched the first reboot, episode 7, didn't like it. That's okay. Fine, you don't have to like every movie. As I said this morning to you, I think it's well known that the best movie of all time, or at least people say this all the time, is Casablanca.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Casablanca.
I like
and
Casablanca.
You frankly couldn't pay me to like it. So, okay, just, you know what?
That's
you can
fine.
just leave. That's
you know
fine.
What? No.
We're in
good.
my house.
This is fine. We don't have to agree on everything.
But we don't have to agree because it's okay. You have different tastes. You
Yep.
have different perspectives. That's fine. But you can try to find something to like in the movie, even if you didn't like the whole movie.
That's true. And that's why you shouldn't get hung up over, well, the Empire could have just jumped forward and then backward, and then they could have caught them off. Or you shouldn't get caught up over things like, why didn't they just use the smaller frigates to bombard the Imperial fleet? Well, yeah, I know. Okay, I get it.
Or why were the bombers designed like giant blimps so that the instant the first one blows up, they all chain react and go down in flames?
Don't ask yourself. It's a space fantasy.
I have to ask. Because I know they're going to make a game where I have to fly one of those things. And I don't want to fly one.
No, they look so cool with the gunners
Dude,
and like climbing ladders.
It's a death trap. Did you see what the Imperials did to it?
Yeah, okay.
I just called them Imperials, didn't I? I meant the First Order. You knew what I meant.
Look, the Resistance is being called Rebels now. Maybe there's a little too much nostalgia going on.
Well, that does bring up another point, which is that I was reading a book simultaneously with the release of this latest Star Wars, and it was about World War II. And I'm starting to really see a lot more of the parallels from firsthand, from my own perspective, between Nazi Germany, the Third Reich, and the Imperial/First Order reign of terror. It's fascinating the way that it's an allegory. The whole Star Wars universe, I know this has been covered by lots of people, but the whole Star Wars universe is a parallel between the rise of the Third Reich and the rise of the Imperials as a power.
Yep. I totally see that with, the word Stormtrooper, if you look at the origin for that. Chancellor Palpatine coming to power the way that he did. And most recently with Rogue One, and I would argue The Last Jedi, which basically could have been World War II era stories, but with a Star Wars skin. And
yep, and that's not a bad thing.
They're quite enjoyable.
We should know more about World War II and what happened and how Hitler rose to power. It's a good thing to know, because you don't want the same thing to happen again. There was just mass slaughter of people going on, and it wasn't just Jews. In fact, a lot of Germans died.
Yep. What's that line in Captain America where one of the characters says the first country the Nazis took over was Germany? You're like, oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so.
Hail Hydra. Excuse me.
Okay. No. And secondly, I think we've dragged this out long enough. Is there any closing thoughts? Did you like it? Tell me, out of 10 lightsabers, how many is The Last Jedi?
See, I don't want to make this sound like a review.
Oh.
But I did like it a lot. I liked it at least 8 lightsabers worth.
8 lightsabers?
Yeah.
Nice. I liked it a double-bladed lightsaber and probably 8.5 because I really liked it, and I can't say 8 like you.
Fine. Go Darth Maul on me. So, I guess to wrap this up, do you want to let people know that they can subscribe? Since you opened us up, you get to close us too, right? It's your turn.
Yes, of course. Please check us out on YouTube, which obviously you've already done because you're watching this. Check out our website at coalescegames.com. No spaces. And find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. See if we're going to do something. Let's talk about games. Let's game.
Hit subscribe. Can't wait to see you again soon.